both Aristotle and Plato and pretty much all the Greek philosophers define what is most essential in man as their intelligence, their reason, their logos. And you don't agree with that?
No, I think there's something deeper which defines a person, is their capacity to love. And of course what we have learned today through the importance of child caring, and if a child is well cared for and well loved, there's a harmony in that child, whereas a child who's abused, hurt, is closed up. So there's something deeper than intelligence, which is the way we can use the intelligence. So what I'm trying to say is that behind the freedom of the intelligence, there's a motor which is there, which you can call energy, which you can call spirit, you can call it the way we use our intelligence, and where do we find the strength for that, which is not contained in the intelligence, the logos itself. So this is something which he really never brought up, which is behind the intelligence.
What makes it possible? Or do you mean like the earth that it grows out of? Or?
Yeah, and actually what makes it possible, because if one is brought up with a hatred of reality, like I was speaking to a psychiatrist the other day who's in England in a prison for mentally sick, disturbed and criminals, 400 of them. And I asked what have you learned? She said every one of my clients, because she didn't have all 400, had been abused physically, sexually, or verbally. And so a child who begins with that is a child with huge defense mechanisms and a fear of the adult. So this is something, I mean, even what I'm saying there was hardly brought up before Bowlby, who reflected on how disease were healed, and disease were better healed by children who were loved, and so on. So there's something there which has not really been known. And
but I mean, if one defines a person like that, the ability to make attachments and feel love, then person is broader than humanity. It would have to include other mammals.
No, because other mammals nevertheless get stuck in their species. Whereas what is interesting about humanity is evolutive. It's an evolving reality. And one generation brings forth new generations, whereas swallows are always pretty well the same.
Are you talking there about, so that there's some kind of dialogue between the heart and reason, in that we can educate our heart through culture and through
love? Anyway, there is some link between the heart and the intelligence. That if the heart has been deeply wounded and there's fear of reality, then that will influence the intelligence. If on the contrary the heart and other mammals, you'll find other mammals can have sympathy with, like swallows. The mother swallow comes and gives, but there's something very special in this beginning, and then opens them up to something which is greater. So there's the heart and the and the spirit or the heart and the intelligence which work together in some very particular way with human beings, which opens us up. It's a question of opening up to truth. And how is truth revealed? And it's really interesting when one reads the life of Jesus, what he condemns, Jesus, is the refusal to listen to reality. The signs that he was doing. So the danger of human beings is the fear of reality. And instead of listening to people who are different, we can quickly condemn them. So there's something which is about humility towards reality. Humility and trust. Now, Aristotle didn't, it was the intelligence that worked alone, almost. There was a power in it.
And I wanted to ask you about that, because the ideal, again, in Greek philosophy is of self-sufficiency and autonomy. But again, it seems like you've moved quite far beyond that, where you've found a value in acknowledging our dependence, our need. Could you tell me about that?
Yes, well, I think, well, first of all, the whole sense of the human family. We belong to each other. And what is evident, what we have seen here, is that people who have been despised are closed up in depression, in anger, and so on. So the sense of belonging, which begins with the mother-child and then opens up, is a whole sense that we belong to each other as a body. Aristotle would say yes for the Greeks, but really only for the liberal citizens, not for the... Whereas there's something, I think here we see we're intertwined together, women and men. Weak people teach us something. And I think that what Aristotle could never really accept was that we learn from weak people. There's something pure and simple in them.